to my channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, welcome back to my channel. And I just want to thank y'all for all the love and support that y'all have been showing me. Today's story time with Just Jeanette. I'm going to be telling y'all how I met a special someone. And it was kind of crazy how I met the person, but I just want to share that with y'all because, I've been, going through some things, and I've been considering some things, and I've been thinking about some things, but this is something that, really makes me happy, and it's not that I'm trying to hide something or not speak of something. And I had talked to this person, and this person was just like, it's not like we are doing anything wrong. We are friends, we are really friends, and I'm gonna get to that. So I'm just getting off work, y'all, and I got me just a little snack. I got me some pepperoni, some pickles with hot sauce, and some little Cheetos. So I'm gonna be smacking on this way. But anyway, so I used to work for this company, and I stopped working for the company because at the time when things were going on, I was all stressed out. I was miserable. I was confused. I didn't like being around people. I didn't want to talk to people. I had my friends and I had the people that I talked to, and it was certain people that I, didn't care to speak to, and, they would, try to cheer me up, and I would always think like, I don't know how I'm gonna get past this. I don't know how this situation is gonna happen, but anyway, I started working for another company. And when I started working for this other company, I started working for someone else. And I was going somewhere with someone, and I had met one of their family members. And while meeting one of their family members, it was shocking to me of who the family member was when they stepped out of the car, because I'm just like, wow, I didn't know that this was, because of it, it was race. I didn't know that this family would have a mixed child in their family. But they loved him. And he was just so handsome. He was just so good looking. He was just so smart, and they were talking to him, and right then and there, we wasn't, trying to, holler at each other or whatever. But I was just looking at him like, dang, this is shocking. I didn't know that this family had, a mixed kid in their family. So, after the day had went past, they were showing me a couple of things. We had took one of the family members somewhere, and they were showing me a couple of things, after hours after I got off the clock, because you don't ever want to mix business with pleasure, business with, So anyway, they took me somewhere, and they were showing me around their little businesses and what they had and all this other kind of stuff. Went and showed me their horses and all. It was just so nice. So anyway, the member of the family had got tired, so they were just like, well, why don't you go and show her the stable that's a little further up there of the other member who was not feeling so good of his horse. Go take her and show her his horse because he loved that horse. So I'm just like, that's fine with me. So we walked, and he was telling me about this and about that, and he was just telling me a whole bunch of other stuff. But what people don't understand about me, I'm not turned on by money. I'm not turned on by what you got, material things. None of that. None of that turns me on because I could care less. You know, I ain't never had it. So I ain't never been with nobody who ever had it. I done been with people who had money and love to splurge and stuff like that. And, you know, but I never, you know, the stuff that he was telling me, it was just clicking like pop, 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 pop. So, you know, it was just going in one ear and out the other. But then he started showing me this and showing me that. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's nice. And then he told me, he say, do you know you have a beautiful smile? Done it's time and I'm ready to go. And I was just like, thank you. But that smile ain't really what it seemed to be. You know, I smile behind a lot of things going on in my life. And he was just, we talked for a little bit. And then one of the members called, and it was like, you know, the other member was ready to go. So, you know, we come on back. So we go back. We talk on the way back. We go back. And it was, once we get back, I get ready to leave, I go home. The next day, I get over there and they tell me, my, such and such, you know, he really enjoyed you yesterday, and, you know, he done been through a lot, and we ain't, you know, really heard him talk about no one the way he was talking about you, and he was just like, it was something about you that really, you know, got his attention. And, you know, I kind of think that y'all should exchange numbers and talk, because they knew what I was going through, because we talked. We was real close. We talked. So they pretty much knew what I was going through, but I didn't know what he was going through. So they was like, you know, y'all can exchange numbers and y'all can talk. And I was just like, you know, so a lot of other stuff started happening. I never gave my number or whatever. So he came over, and when he came in and walked through the door to speak to one of the members of the family, and I'm just like, my whole heart dropped, like, like, oh my goodness, like, I done seen some cute guys. I done seen some handsome guys, but this one right here was just like, I'm just like, whoa, you know, and looks just don't just reach out to me. You know, I do, you know, if you nice looking, if, you know, you whatever. So, you know, I'm just never just a big hurry up and try to reach and grab for you because, you know, you cute. But he walked through that door. He was dressed nice, like suits, like, you know, like he was dressed like a businessman. Like, he just had that professional, that I don't even know how to put it, but he was really nice. He wasn't in no tennis shoes, no blue jeans, or none of that stuff. He was dressed really nice. So he came in. We all started talking, and he looked at me and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "I'm doing good." He was like, "I want to thank you for how you taking care of the family member." He was like, "Because you can't find good help, and you know, I don't want to, you know, be saying help like that." He was like, "Because, you know, hey, me and you," he's like, "but I'm just saying, I just thank you because my such and such keep telling me," and y'all, I don't want to call these people out because, you know, it's messy people on the platform, on the whatever you want to say. It's people out there that try to bring you down. So I'm just telling my story to a limit. You know what I'm saying? To a limit. But I'm gonna be able to tell y'all the whole story one day. But anyway, and I was like, no problem. That's what I'm here for. You know. So they ordered it's some kind of Spanish restaurant, and they was just like, we're gonna order some lunch so we can all sit down and talk, because they had to talk about some family business. And I was just like, okay, well, y'all go ahead, and we'll just be in here sitting down, I'm making sure he okay, watch TV or whatever, watching his shows, because he liked to watch his shows, and he liked for you to sit there and watch with him. So I'm just like, okay. So he was just like, and they was like, no, we want you to eat too. We're gonna order this. It's I can't think of the Spanish restaurant, but they had ordered beans, enchiladas, and rice, and it had some It was, I cannot think of the name of that, but it's a real known restaurant. So anyway, they ordered the food. The food came, and they was just like, well, y'all come on in here and y'all eat, and we just all talk. So I say, no, y'all go ahead and talk about what y'all need to talk about, because I don't want to be involved. Some get out, some leak out. I don't want to have no involvements in it. So I was like, no, we understand. So I was like, well, we'll eat, me and the other person will eat in the kitchen, and then y'all, they ate at the big family table. So we sitting there, and me, I'm just so, somebody needs to do something about me. I'm just so shy and barely eating, and y'all, it was crazy. But anyway, we had after we ate and everything, everybody sat down, everybody was talking about stuff. Everybody was talking about this, talking about that. So it was time for me to get ready to go. So as I was walking out the door, he feeling my whole heart just balling up, like like y'all, like that kitty, just like that kitty crush, and my whole heart just balling up. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, I hope he leaving, and I hope he not trying to say nothing to me. So he came and he say, can I get your number? He's like, my grandma think that we really should talk. And I said, sure. So we exchanged numbers, and I didn't think he was gonna call me. And my crazy self wasn't gonna call him, because I don't know what's wrong with me. So I'm just like, we just exchanging numbers for nothing. So I get in my car, I'm just smiling, teeth dry, I smile all the way home. And I get home. Later on that night, about, I think it was about like maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock, I get a phone call. And I forgot to program his number in my phone. I forgot to put it under his name. We just had exchanged numbers or whatever. I answer the phone. I never answer numbers I don't know. You will get a voicemail, or I will end the call quick, fast, and in a hurry. I do not answer unknown numbers. But this day, I answered it. I guess I was expecting the call. So I answered the phone, and I'm like, hello? And then, we talk. And then we talked on the phone for probably, I tell y'all, we was on the phone for about an hour. I was telling him my story. He was telling me his story. And we was just, going back and forward. And we talked. And the next day he told me that he had to go do some business. out of town, but he had really wanted to see me when he had got back. And I'm just like, I really don't know how to feel about that, because I really haven't never dealt with nobody on that profession, on that level. I have always dealt with people that wasn't on that level, if you know what I'm saying. It really don't matter how you make your money or how you get your money or how much money you got anyway, but I never deal with nobody that travels and go out of town on business meetings and go here and dealing with a whole business. I never dealt with nobody like that. So I'm just like, okay, so he I think it was 2 days later. I'm thinking, y'all know I'm so used to watching movies. I'm like, this man ain't on no business field. He done went and seen somebody, which I had already knew the story of him, him and his wife. And we kind of was in the same, I ain't gonna say in the same situation, but his wife cheated on him and left him for another man. My husband cheated on me and left me for another woman. So we was kind of in the same boat. And the stories that we were telling each other, he was amazed at my story. He was just like, now wait a minute. It was some stuff he was just like, now wait a minute. Now I know, but anyway, we ain't gonna get all into details. We ain't talking about that. So he called me in 2 days. So he called me, we talking. And we just started talking, and he just started, making me feel comfortable, talking to him. And I would just let him know, I've been in a relationship for 24 years. I really don't know how to date, communicate, none of that stuff, with anybody outside of that person. And he was just like, just take your time. I'm not rushing you to do anything. I'm not rushing you to do anything. I'm not rushing you to get over anything. He was just like, I want to get to know you, and I'm hoping that you want to get to know me. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what we're doing, right? So we just talking, and I think weeks passed, and he was just like, can I ask you something? And I was like, sure. He was like, how do you feel about me taking you on a date? And I say, well, I ain't really no date type of go out to the restaurant type of girl. I don't mind, but I'm just not that type of girl, I said that's probably why my husband bounced on and went on about his business, because I'm not the club type of girl. I don't care to go on no, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't care to go on no trips. I'm just a homebody. And I was telling him, I don't care to go no fancy restaurant, because the type of life that, he has, he business. He know big people, and, they be at big restaurants. So he was like, well, let me just take you out on a date, a lunch date, and I'm just like, what day? And he was just like, a day that you get off early, or that you go in. So I'm just like, okay. When I first started working, I did get off early. So I was just like, okay. So he took me to this little nice restaurant I ain't never seen here in Austin. It was nice. It was all the way out there somewhere by Lake Travis, I think. And we go off in there, and I'm just looking around like, I told him I didn't want to go to no face. No, it's not like that. oh, we going there. He said, you know, what would you like to eat? And I told him, I said, well, I'm kind of in the mood for some wings and fries or something like that. One of those steaks. He said, no, this ain't that. You know, you say you didn't want to be going to no expensive stuff, so I just took you somewhere we can have some lunch. So we ordered some wings and some french fries, and we had dessert, and we had some drinks, and we sat out on the patio by the water, and we talked, and we talked, and we talked. And then, you know, I learned so much stuff about him. He learned some stuff about me. And we became friends. You know, he would text me in the morning time, hey, beautiful, you know, wake up, you know, rise and shine. You missing out, you know, and I would just, you know, wake back up and text him, thank you, and, you know, something, you know. So during the day, you know, I would text him, good evening, hope your day is going well. So, you know, we was back and forward, you know, encouraging each other. And, you know, I would tell him, hey, you know, how's everything going? You know, don't beat yourself down about your situation. And he was just like, hey, you don't do it either. So one day we was talking, and I asked him how did he feel about forgiving his wife. And he was just like, really, at this point, I don't want to forgive her. He was just like, because, you know, if she didn't want to live the life that I had provided for her, which she didn't have to want for nothing, didn't even have to work, and she wanted to go and live another life, that's all she could have did was told me. She didn't have to go out and do this and do that, which she had everything she needed, cars, money. They didn't have no kids. But she had everything. He showed me pictures and, you know, everything of what she had. And I tell you, she had a good life, a good life. And he say, you know, she could have just been honest with me. You know, I'm not the type of person that's gonna make you stay in a relationship if you don't want to be in a relationship. You know, if you don't want to be married to me, you know, there's options that we have to get unmarried. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But look, y'all, I said, yeah, that's true. But I think that, because I think he told me they was together for 15 years. And I said, but you know, that's a lot of years to lose out on not forgiving her. I know it's things y'all know about each other, places y'all done been, people y'all done seen, people y'all know together. I mean, there's conversations that y'all can have that other people can't have. Whenever you feeling low or insecure or something about yourself, it's something she can say to you to make you feel better. I feel like you should forgive her and y'all should have some type of friendship. Don't hate her. So he tell me, well, if you're encouraging me, I want to encourage you and you do the same thing. I say, well, I have forgiven him, but it's a different ball game on being like friends with him, because my situation is totally different from your situation. He was just like, no, both, you know. So I was like, no. So I started telling him my story and how this happened and how that happened. And he was just like, you know, I can understand that. And I'm still going to encourage you every day. If you can build some type of relationship, friendship, you know, something, don't lose all those years. Don't throw away all those years y'all had, because just like you told me, it's something in there where y'all can comfort each other, or you can calm him down in situations. You can talk to him. You can be y'all are literally best friends no matter who he's with. And just like you told me, me and her are best friends no matter who we with, who I'm with. And he say, I don't think that you should feel that you can't be in a relationship with this person a friendship due to the circumstances that happen. You got to forgive and you got to move on and let that be the reason. And to each his own. And I say, yeah, you right, but I start telling how the other person act, how the other person, speak and all kind of other stuff. I say, so there is no type of communication. There's no type of, hey, let's talk, let's sit down, there's nothing. His understanding is above everybody's. Whatever he think in his mind, that's it, and that's how it goes. His heart don't beat like yours. His mind don't think like yours. So it's his way or no way, and that's just the way it is. So I'm not finna try to change nobody on their thinking, on their heart, on their mind. And if a person grow out of love with you, and if a person don't have no love for you, and if a person choose, to love or choose other things of someone else over you, what are you gonna do? And he was just like, I understand, but to me, both of y'all are selfish. Both of y'all should have some type of conversation in y'all to where y'all should have some type of friendship. I don't care. 24 years. He said me and my wife was together 15. And 24 years is 2 decades and some. He said that's a long time. And I said, I understand that. I understand that. But when you cannot talk to a person, when two people just understanding is on two different levels, it's never gonna be on a level of, okay, let's, okay, yeah, you was right, I shouldn't have, or yeah, I apologize. No, me, I apologize. I told him I apologize so many times. I say, but to not get an apology back or to get a half of an apology, that's not how you do things. And he was just like, yeah, sometimes people pride won't allow them to really show them the man that they really is inside. He said because a lot of men have a soft spot inside, and a lot of men don't show that soft spot inside. He was just like, but I just don't feel like 24 years I'ma just ball that all up and throw it away and burn it like it never existed. He said, I'm just not that type of person. And I said, that's just like you just said, to each his own. I'm not going to never down talk him. I say, I'm not going to never say nothing bad about him, because at that time when he was able, he took care of me. We was together 24 years. We had a lot of good times together, a lot, so I'm not going to belittle him and talk bad about him to you. Have I ever did that? He was like, no. I said, okay. When I told you my situation, I never really told you the full details. I told you some things, but I never told you the full details because I felt, I'm not going to talk about him, like that to no man, no matter what the circumstances is. He said, yes, and I respect you for that same way with me. And I said, yes, that's why I'm telling you that you need to find a way to forgive her and build up a friendship. And he was just like, okay, so I'm telling you. I was like, well, I'm not there yet. I tried several times to get there, but my feelings got hurt in the process several times trying to get there. And I'm just not finna let my feelings get hurt no more. So you can't expect me to keep trying. Yes, he was my best friend. He was my best friend. That was my go-to person that I went to for everything. I talked to him about everything. There's so many things that he know about me nobody don't know. So yes, he was my best friend. But now, I have to build that up into somebody else. So he was like, no, the type of relationship y'all had, it'll never be with nobody else. And I don't care. I'm not saying that because of nothing. I'm just telling you from a man perspective. That type of relationship that y'all have, he can get another relationship. They can build whatever they want to. But y'all have a totally, he says, like a brick wall. And a lot of things that y'all went through, neither one of y'all have healed from it. And I'm like, what you mean not healed from? Because if you're in a whole another relationship and you loving this person, your dedication is to this person, you have no eye turn on your family, your family that's been there for you for 24 years, you have no eye turn on them. So what do you mean? I mean, there's no going back from that. This is how, I'm just saying this because this is how we encourage each other. You know, and it's just not a one-time thing. He encouraged me every other week, every other day, and he tell me, I still think you should. I still think you should. And just like I tell him all the time, I tried it, and it did not work, and I'm not going to continue to get my feelings hurt trying to be the nice one. I'm just not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, do I believe that our relationship can go further? I do. But like he say, I have to break that wall down, and I have to be able to communicate with him to know, like, hey, you know, I don't want to see nothing bad happen to that person. I don't want to see nothing, you know, I don't want to see none of that. You know, no, it doesn't matter. Just like you said, do you care if people see you talk to you? Do you care? No, I don't. No matter what the situation was, I don't care. But like I was telling him, you can't keep poking something and poking something and poking something, and then it just explode in your face. You just can't keep doing it. You just can't keep doing it. So he's like, I understand, but now he at a point to where I'm sorry y'all smacking in y'all face. I'm home and I got to get ready to get off of here. But now he's at a point. He still encouraged me. He still talked to me, and you know, we don't talk about, you know, right now we're both not talking about being into a serious relationship. You know, friends is what he's very special. He's very special because I don't feel like I could have ever ran across nobody else that could have discussed my relationship, and I could have discussed his relationship, because at that point in time I was so bitter I could have said or done anything. But he changed my heart, and then, you know, plus he's a religious person, and we talk about, you know, so many different things, and he loved to hear, you know, when I tell him I went to Bible study, he loved to hear about it, and we just talk about everything, you know, and I like that. I like that. I like to get on the phone and talk, and, you know, how you doing? No, you're not doing okay. How are you doing mentally? How are you doing physically? What's going on with you? I was going through some situations, and he offered to help, and I declined to help. And he was just like, you know, you have to stop pushing people away that's really trying to help you, because just because I'm there for you as a friend, and I want to be there for you as a friend and help you as a friend. I'm not going to down talk you because you're in a situation. I know why you're in that situation. So don't beat yourself down if you're, you know, continuing. You know, you have to get on your feet. You went from a 2-house income to a 1-person income, and you wasn't the one who was making all of the income. That's just like me. with my wife. She couldn't go out there and live on her own because it would be hard for her to start. She would fall a lot of times. He said, but you know what? I wouldn't allow her to fall. I wouldn't allow her. If she told me I don't need it, it'll be in her cash out. It'll be in her cash out. He said, I will refuse to see somebody I've been with 15 years struggle. I will refuse to see them struggle. He said she can call me today and tell me I need some gas, I need some food. He said, I don't care who she with. If she need me, I'm there. And I said, and that's what I like about him. I like that when he had that desire, when he had that push to forgive her, now he know in his heart, like, that's my best friend. I'ma always do for her. I'ma always be there. But far as being in a relationship with her, it'll never happen. It'll never happen to where we'll ever be together. Their divorce is already on the way. My divorce is almost final. So, it's steps to being with somebody. And just like I told him, even if we don't get into a serious relationship, I would still want to keep in contact with him, still communicate with him, because he have got me, just got me through a lot of stuff in these bad times. The Lord above and got me through everything. But I'm just saying, he have been there for me no matter what. He have tried to help me in a lot of ways. I have declined it because I feel bad. I'm not doing anything with you that, we don't do nothing. We haven't even never kissed or even held hands. We are just friends. We haven't did anything. So I feel bad. And like he said, that's what friends are for. It is, but I'm just the type of female to where if I'm going to struggle, just let me struggle and let me find my way out of it. Just let me find my way out of it. I will eventually come out of it some kind of way. But anyway, my LJC family, it'll be a part 2. Y'all, please, please, please like, comment, and subscribe. I love y'all on my LJC family. I love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Y'all be out on the lookout for part 2. But like I told y'all, it won't be a part 2 until I hit that 1,000 subscribers. And hey, by then, we don't know what the situation may be then. But until next time, I love y'all on my LJC family. Peace.